Welcome back to Morning Live, and we want to talk about STEM in this country, how now even the new curriculum will not be amalgamating the idea of that is science, technology, that engineering and mathematics. And with me, it's Michael Nganga, the Acting National Director of the Young Scientists Kenya, who now will be taking us through this conversation, which is kind of very sensitive with the fact that now the new competency-based curriculum is in the country trying to take shape. Will it affect the quest that they have for this STEM idea to kind of traverse all over the country? Good morning, Mr. Michael.
Morning.
And karibu sana Switch TV.
Thank you.
All right, now, we've been having a conversation during the break, but now it seems like I have another topic totally different to now tackle. But still, your idea with the that's the Young Scientists Kenya, because now, as much as you're focusing on STEM now, what drove you guys now to come up with this initiative that indeed we need to put more young people in this agenda?
So Young Scientists Kenya was birthed as an idea between the government of Ireland and the Ministry of Education here. So these two governments came together because Ireland has had Young Scientists Ireland for 54 years. So through their embassy here, they shared with us, you know, like Ireland was so far behind and lagging behind in Europe. And the only way they saw fit to fast track their progress was to, you know, sciences, education. And they began with the high schools and the children in interesting them in sciences. And if you look at our, I don't know, when you see the results being announced here, if you've ever seen the results of biology, chemistry, physics. So we've been really doing so badly as a country in terms of the sciences. And the initial idea has been built towards making STEM very interesting. And with Young Scientists Kenya, our work and our mandate, of which we started in 2017. In 2018, we went to 10 counties to pilot. But now in 2019, we are now in the 47 counties after the president, during his speech, during our ceremony last year, said, no, you have to go to the 47 counties. And he agreed to be our patron. So it's been a challenge. It's been a challenge just getting to some of the schools. But STEM, I'd say, is what we need as a country to push us forward in regards to innovation.
Amazing. So when you talk about schools, I understand, are you in high schools, primary schools? Where do you focus on?
So our focus is on high schools because their sciences are well defined. But the more we've done the pilot and now this year, the more I see the importance of having it from primary schools. And what that is a build-up of is that when a child picks interest in STEM at an early age, and maybe the new curriculum is going to facilitate that, that people will start, you know, natural selection. You know, this is my line, this one is, this is my line. I'm going to be into music or sciences. But right now we are focusing on high schools because there's only so much you can bite. And I don't know which high school you went to, if your school had a laboratory, a working computer. In my time, honestly, we didn't have computer labs. Now they are there. But we are working through high schools, through something called STEM schools. So there are 102 STEM schools. And our hope is that they will increase them. And the proposal is to have 588 next year.
Amazing. So let's talk about the CBC, because now, as much as your quest is to make sure STEM is now popularized in our high schools and even the primary schools at some point, because now that's the foundation. Now, we're talking about a course that is giving a child a liberty to choose any direction he or she wants. For example, I'm a good musician. I want to actually dwell into music. And do you think now the likes of mathematics and all the sciences will be kind of avoided? Because during our days, these days actually, mathematics is compulsory. You cannot avoid that thing. Some schools, all the 3 sciences compulsory. You couldn't avoid those things. Now, right now, there's liberty of choice, whereby now I'll wake up one day and say, oh goodness, I want to be a tailor. I want to do mathematics. It won't help me in any way. I want to be a musician. So do you think now also, as much as we are fighting for STEM to be popularized in our schools, there's some aspects of maybe burying our heads in the sand, knowing that the bigger picture here, we'll be losing so many people from this area?
Well, in regards to the new curriculum, I'd say I'd look at it from what I benefited from 844.
Okay.
I loved art and craft.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was amazing, and I felt so sad
There
that
was home science.
there was home science.
Yeah.
I know how to stitch, you know, like,
Interesting.
but I'm not stitching.
Kupika uji.
Kupika uji. There's the rabbit. I don't know
Yeah.
if you did a Greek where
Yeah.
you went, you had to have a nursery.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
that was from 1, from 2. But with now the new curriculum, I think starting from an early age, I think maybe we are borrowing leaf from other countries.
Yeah.
Maybe we are very fast in fast tracking the education, the uptake. I don't know if a pilot would have sufficed to test a few, and then
Are you worried?
I'm not really worried. Somehow societies have a way of restarting, rejuvenating again, where you realize that even when maybe there was a hunger or a great meltdown, people still find a way to rise. And Kenyans are known for their resilience.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing even for education, we will have the kids taking up, I'm a musician in class 5, in class 6.
Yeah.
But imagine if you don't have math, you're calculating small math for money at the shop.
That's funny about counting your money.
Yeah.
Even the most illiterate person who didn't go to school
Yeah.
knows how that
Knows how to
currency is.
count money, yeah.
So
there's natural math,
yeah,
right?
there's natural math about money.
Yes.
Like, this is my money, I need to count. These people who they didn't even touch mathematics.
Yeah.
They're the best business people out here.
True.
Like, these guys are very conversant with now the economic status of their stock, whatever. So many things regarding their businesses. But you see, the CBC, let's just focus on it a little bit before we go back to STEM. The CBC is only successful in Finland. And Kenya, the first African country trying to push this. It failed in some various African countries. Do you think we'll have casualties whereby at some point we'll produce a thick society because of the pilot program that failed, so that we're having this failed generation,
A gap, yeah.
and gap, so that these guys who are coming behind will now kind of now get a very good platform, because now this failed generation succumbed to a test that actually didn't work. Do you think we are kind of embroiling ourselves into disaster coming soon?
I'd like to say this with reservations, is we've seen what some of the universities and higher education, the colleges and everything have produced, where maybe someone starts a new job and really cannot deliver.
Yeah, sure.
And that's a reality. That's a fact. And I'd say I'd rather have someone who knows what they are doing from an early age than have someone who can't figure out stuff.
It's true that.
And if this education is going to destabilize how the 844 was structured, you pass your number 1 or number 2 or number 3, and yet your strengths are in something else. I feel that a change is as good as a rest. This new curriculum, let's give it a chance. That's my personal opinion. In STEM, in careers, there will be casualties. There will be people who will pursue careers they think they love, but maybe
they'll hit a dead end.
They'll hit a dead end. But who are we as Kenyans? We always adapt.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a bit about Kenya also.
Yeah, I took accounts up to a certain level, and honestly, maybe I did it because I was told I was good in maths by my dad, and that I'd be counting money. And I would want to have told him that I was counting other people's money, at the end of it all. But the reality is that now I'm doing what I love. I'm doing project management, I'm doing sustainability, things to do with the environment.
He wanted me to be a doctor.
Yeah.
Because maybe good in sciences, so maybe he thought maybe it's just resilience. You're very right, by the way. But back to the STEM, you're having some event going on actually right now in Karen. Yeah, can tell us more about that.
So the STEM Challenge KE was brought together by a few partners, and as Young Scientists Kenya, we were invited to speak at the event. And really, these are the kind of events that are going to shape the mindsets of many.
Okay.
And as you rightfully said, you know, how many people will be interested in STEM? So there is a group of young people who are very interested, and I'm telling you, they will one day turn out to be our researchers, our scientists. There has to be always that one guy in your class who is like the genius or the bright guy who just thinks differently. And STEM really is giving a place to these young minds to start providing solutions for their country. And with its purpose is to really spur up young people at an early age, because it's covering people in lower primary and upper primary. And such kind of activities and the STEM Challenge KE is just like what we are doing as Young Scientists Kenya, going, sensitizing about STEM, and really bringing mentors who are experts in such career paths. And yeah, please pass by at the current hub and check it out. It should be ending today. And really see what the students are learning. They're learning on robotics, drone technology, they're learning on coding, Arduino, all those kind of things. And these are really important things for design learning, you know, engineering, math, you know, the formulas that you need. All those kind of things are very interesting at their age. But if you don't, we need to take that to more children. We need to take that to more young people to start having that interest towards it.
In every society, change sometimes is not easy. And I must tell you, it's never easy anywhere. But you see, the Kenya National Union of Teachers are now trying to resist the new curriculum because now, you know, they spent so many years being trained on the other curriculum. So they feel like this other curriculum, there's some teachers being trained for 2 days and they spend years and years in the colleges being trained. They feel like there's something wrong. Right now, some have been arrested for just resisting, interrupting the training. But what can you tell them? Because already we've touched base on this matter, change. Let's try. As Kenyans, we are resilient. What do you think about now? More than 200,000 teachers who are resisting this.
So maybe even just looking at the teacher. The teacher is one very important part of the success of a student. If anything, teachers should really be compensated. And I really feel at times the pain when they are on strike and we're having all these challenges that we face. But to address the issue of the new curriculum and the 844, you know, at times change is always, you know, like it's the fear it brings, you know, how many will adapt, how many teachers will decide to quit. But I see an opportunity where even the teachers do get to learn. Like imagine it from your 844 perspective. There's no day in my life when I was in primary school that the teacher used a board or a computer to teach me. And I wonder what it would have been like if they were teaching using a screen and said, you know, this is what the world looks like. And we are in a geography class. And I feel the teachers should, you know, give the students that benefit. The world is moving so fast. And these kids need a platform that will prepare them. They need mindsets that will take them to the next level, whereby the teacher can't use old methods of teaching, where you're preparing a child for a new world, where everything is on mobile, everything is digital. They might not even end up working in Kenya. They might be a global citizen. And then you just throw them deep end to a world where they don't even know. And I feel to teachers is to really ask them, you know, can you know, these are your children, and allow them to benefit from such a world as this, to prepare themselves for an industrialized world, the fourth industrial revolution. We are at that stage. And I feel 844, I know we were thrown deep into the waters.
It's true that.
Figure it out. You're 40 in your class, you have one teacher, you're running to school, you're in sports, you're in art, you're in... And sort of some of those skills we are benefiting from
Yeah,
them.
that's true.
But now the world is changing, and we have to adapt to the change.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, we're now taking a short break, but we want to talk about the rankings in school. You know, when you were growing up, unaulizwa ulikuwa namba ngapi, you say number 46 out of 46, that means you're number last. So those things, as much as you're number 46 out of the 46, there was something new that maybe you didn't know. Number 1, number 2, those guys out here, you know them because as much as they were kind of top students, some things always happen just as much as they're actually progressing in their lives, in the education system. But when you come back, we're going to talk about STEM itself and how it's being now responded to, because now the response is very important. As much as we're trying to push this agenda, the response is very important. All that's coming to you after a short break. Welcome back to Morning Live. Let's now talk about the response STEM is getting in our institutions. And Mr. Michael Mnganga, the Acting National Director of the Young Scientists Kenya, is here with me in studio talking about all these things. Now, because STEM is one of the subjects being avoided, how's the response? Because as much as the 844 is being scrapped away, and as it is, the current standard 4 pupils will be the last lot to sit for KCPE. And the rest now, if you know, if diplomacy fails, force is used.
Yeah.
Now this thing, they have to do it.
Yeah.
The government has said enough is enough. We don't care whether NAT will respond to this or not. They have to do it. How is the response so far in our institutions? Because I know it's still 844, but do you see more students taking up even these other courses? Because even the other day, out of around 300 A's we had in this country, only 6 took law. You see, that's kind of an unfortunate situation. The rest are medicine, the rest engineering. So do you think maybe it's actually now getting traction?
Yeah, I'd like to say that STEM is like it's like someone that you don't know,
Yeah.
but has always been there. You've just not given them the time to get to know them. And this I say in the sense of how now STEM is being approached.
Okay.
So we've made it very, very interesting during our visits to the schools.
Okay.
So Young Scientists Kenya has partnered with Blaze by Safaricom.
Okay.
And I'm sure you've seen them,
Yeah.
you've seen Blaze
Yeah.
going around to the
Yeah,
universities.
sure.
Now
Sure.
we have that happening in the high schools.
Okay.
And through the support of the Irish Embassy, we've gotten sponsorship and support from additional partners.
Okay.
So when we go to a school, you don't talk about STEM as, you're just mixing chemicals.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, we do that, and we do it in a fun way. We have a tent where we have gaming. We have a tent where we have VR, virtual reality, silent disco, and they can dance away. And we're talking about how is it that you have wireless headphones, they're using wireless, so they're using frequency. And that frequency is because of this and this and this, and this is the physics behind it. And when you break it down, and I can tell you from my perspective,
They get interested.
they get so interested.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have been interested in chemistry now. But I did so badly in chemistry during my time.
But I still believe, I still want to insist this.
Yeah.
Your grade in high school doesn't really matter where you actually fall into this society.
Yeah.
Do you still believe that?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's now that we got out of school and we realize, oh, this is life. And you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And you learn something along the way that now you're using. Maybe you use your art and craft that you learned, or an interest that you had, and you use that line. So I'm beginning to see that honestly with the new curriculum they will benefit, but on my side I didn't get the benefit of it. Yeah, we did the biology, we did the physics, the chemistry, but honestly the chem was something else.
There's something I don't understand how it's helping me. Algebra, man.
Yeah.
A plus B into brackets B is equals
Yeah.
to AB. What is happening, man? I'm here talking to
Yeah.
you, and I struggle with that thing.
Yeah.
Like, for
And you had
God's
to
sake.
know it, right?
Yeah, you have to know it.
Yeah.
It's to be examined.
Yes.
So I don't know, but still, I believe the CBC. I hope
Yeah.
so that will actually
I
solve
hope
this
it
thing.
simplifies
I
things
hope it simplifies.
for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
students.
yeah.
Because honestly, like we bring mentors who break down that I am a doctor
Yeah.
and this is what my day looks like. You as a student sitting there in
Yeah.
the session,
Yeah.
you're like, all along you've been saying, when you go to a school and you ask, what do you want to be? I want to be a pilot. Honestly, by the way, we've not had pilots in our sessions.
Yeah.
We've really
Oh.
looked for pilots.
Okay.
We've not had pilots. So a doctor speaks and says, I want, who wants to be a doctor? And hands up.
Hands up.
But now they've never had an idea of what being a doctor takes.
Yeah,
The 7 years,
yeah,
the time, the shifts, all those things.
Yeah.
And then after the session, they come to you and they tell you, no, I don't think I really want to be a doctor. But then there's the other person who really says,
Yeah,
and now
I want to
even
be a
more so, I
doctor.
really want to be a
Yeah,
doctor.
sure.
So that's where we are coming in with the mentorship. Because when you bring an actual example,
Yeah.
if this was presented to me some years back in my high school,
Yeah.
I think I'd have loved chemistry because we have amazing experiments that we do. And I'm always wowed. I'm an adult, but I'm always wowed about these things that we are doing. So
It's true that, yeah.
this is what I see as a big benefit, that if this curriculum will break down learning in a simple, practical way for a student to see its application, then it will make sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, what can you say about the teachers? Do you think they need more time to be trained in order to kind of help the students now achieve this? Because as much as you're talking about the resistance, is maybe 2-3 days enough for the CBC to be inculcated into them? Because I feel like it's a small time. Yes, during our days, you remember we used to have home science, the primary school. You mentioned it. You had your nursery in agriculture. You kind of water your seedlings. We had music, art and craft, mosaic, collage, all those things. Music, G-clef and everything.
Yeah.
But some people chose a different path. Yeah, but do you think the teachers need to now at least understand that this will be... I know it's a risk. We're taking a risk in this.
Oh, yeah, we are.
So do you think the teachers should now be very integral in understanding this?
Yeah, you're right in saying that there is need of more training. And I feel the same. In the sense, teachers, number one, there's always the outstanding teachers. In our primary school, I still remember my teacher, Mrs. Thairo.
Yeah.
She really disciplined me and she did a lot for me. I really feel that I owe a lot to her.
Yeah.
And those are teacher champions, I call them. And my high school is like a blank. It's a bit of a blur.
Okay.
Because your adolescence and everything. And we must be aware of those stages of life. But these are the formative stages, the early stages. And this is where you shape a child in the right path. And what I feel is that other than the 2 days, teachers should have like additional follow-up training, because you're trying to teach someone about computers, you're trying to teach them about a new curriculum, how they should teach. They have a style of teaching. So imagine, when will it take Moranga Teachers Training College, the Goto Teachers Training College to shape up all these teachers at such a time as this? It will take some time. It really will take some time. But with the days that they have, if then they are able to adapt quickly based on their long-term experience, we will be able to, fast track the progress. But I do feel that, even a follow-up, a baseline survey to see how has it been taken up, have the teachers understood. But I'm sure there'll still be a few teething problems because it's a new thing, it's being adapted, it's facing resistance. It's just like when computers came in the workplace. Everybody resisted them. Now they make our work easy. So I feel this is like one of those cases.
From the days of typewriter. That was difficult.
It's very difficult.
Anyway, the response towards this subject called mathematics. Let's not even talk about sciences. Mathematics, some people, I remember back in some school, when you have maths double. You know, after the break, there's
Oh
double
yeah,
maths. Huh?
math stuff.
Wow. From 10 a.m. to
Yeah.
1 p.m. uko na maths double. And you feel like I will die. Mtu anakuambia saa hizo Nick niko free. I'm free, by the way.
Yeah.
You actually now handle the statistics. It just it was kind of heavy for some people.
Yeah.
Now, how can you make mathematics this friendly subject, the go-to subject, whereby you're just playing around with figures, digits, and some people kind of take it like they amplify their shortcomings with mathematics.
Yeah.
What's wrong now? Demystifying that thing, maths ni ngumu.
Yeah. I think for maths we really have to like insist on its importance. I'd really find it sad if our daughters and my son at the moment decided to drop maths. Like, you know,
and as I say,
that's
and
the
as I
younger
say,
generation.
and as I said, there's some things that won't help our society as far as mathematics is concerned.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about even...
But there's what will help, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I won't deny that. But
Yeah.
let's talk about even maybe a topic called vectors. Understand it.
Yeah.
You know, vectors is about directions.
Yes.
Yeah, and aviation experts actually have to use vectors and everything. Navigation, our captains in our ships have to use vectors. Our pilots have to use vectors. But hey, I'm going to be a doctor. Where will vectors and calculus affect me in any of my operation? For God's sake, do you think we need kind of to simplify also the mathematics? Like, we scrap some topics. We just scrap some things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd agree with you if I was still in school.
Yeah.
But I feel like there's an aspect of medicine that they will still need vectors. So let's leave medicine out. Yeah, let's leave medicine aside. But let's think of other careers. Like now if you say computer science, they will still need some of that. So you see that math really touches so many things. From 844 background, let's go back to where we came from. From an 844 background is that math touches so much. Even in home science, even in agriculture, calculating your produce, calculating your profits.
Those are the basics. I'm not trying to fight with mathematics, but those are the basics. Yeah.
But I think maybe it's let them have the basics and a little bit more, just so that they may advance, because they're going into accounting and everything. But when you think about the natural selection of how our world works, how the universe works, when I think of, as we've been going around the 47 counties, you see the champions come forward. And STEM has a STEAM aspect to it, because the world is insisting on the arts, the A in the STEM, that we must add an A into the STEM to make it STEAM. And arts are now a part of us. Someone from a young age wants to be, a musician, wants to be a drummist, wants to be a, a violinist or something. So with that, as we go around the schools and everything, we're kind of seeing, oh, these guys have just gone to this mentor. They have questions for this. They really are interested in this. And how we are tagging it as YSK is that once you qualify from this level, you come to this level. You win the Young Scientists National Science Exhibition, which will be held in August, the 6th to the 9th. And once they win that, the winner, we take them to compete with others and to showcase. So it's that there will be a selection of how these people grow, and you will fall into your line. I will fall into my line. And I will figure out, really, this is my path.
Amazing. I hope Science Congress is still intact in schools. Is it still there?
It is still there, but now it is the Kenya Science and Engineering Fair. And what has happened is, so YSK is now the premier science competition. So there are so many other science competitions, and what's happening is that YSK is going to visit all these other competitions, and we're going to get their winners. And these winners are the ones we are showcasing in August to the country, to the world, that here you are finalists. And out of them, we will get someone who's really good in computers. I'll give you one example, an amazing example from last year. 2 girls from Marsabit County who saw the pollution in their county was too much. And because Marsabit is two sides. There's a green side and the desert side, sort of. They went, picked sand, and then this other side, they picked the plastics and melted it, and then mixed it with the sand and made cabro bricks.
Wow.
Now, those are innovations that will help us curb pollution.
Absolutely.
We're seeing the European countries making roads from solar panels. So those are the kind of things that we are interested in that will provide a solution.
Thank you very much, Bwana Michael, for coming. And of course, this has been a fruitful conversation. And I still believe there's hope for our young students, the scientists. And I still feel also that some things actually need to be scrapped for the good of our society. Is it?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you too.
Okay, let's now focus on matters in East Africa, because as much as we are talking about what's happening in Kenya, we now traverse to Tanzania, where